Please, it's now 10 minutes past 7. We're about to start our meeting. Mr. Clerk, can you please do roll call?
Mayor Joseph,
Here.
Vice Mayor Galvin,
Here.
Councilwoman Keys,
Here.
Councilman Bieneme, Councilman Dezume.
Here.
Oh, he's here. All right, Mayor, we have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll go to second order of business, which is the Pledge of Allegiance with Sergeant Ernesto Reyes, not Miami PD. United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. If we may remain standing while we invite dear resident of ours, Imam Dr. Nasir Ahmed Majid Al-Ansar. Did I do well?
You did excellent.
He's going to lead us in invocation. Thank you.
Thank you. In the name of Almighty God, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, master of the day of judgment. Okay. Thank you. With the name of God, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, the Lord of all of the systems of knowledge, who is known by many of the most beautiful names, Jesus, Elohim, Allah, Yahweh, who has sent our prophets from Adam, Noah, Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, to all. I would like to say peace and blessings be upon all of you, and we ask God's blessings upon this legislative body that has been entrusted to ensure justice so that all of the citizens of this city can benefit from all of the blessings that God has given to all of humanity. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, Mr. Manager, do we have any additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda before we proceed?
Yes, sir. I need to withdraw and move to the next meeting the presentation regarding the annual audit report. Also, I needed to add as a tab J, discussion regarding Waste Pro services.
Jay? So this was not published, that's what you're saying?
That last item was not published due to issue with the administration, sir.
So, Mayor, can I add something about the item for discussion? Was he an emergency item?
No, it was an item that was requested that we forgot to put on, so we put it on. If you like, we can add it to the next agenda item.
No, because the code is clear on how to add an item on the agenda after being published. That's been, since it's not an emergency item, I don't see how can you put an item on the agenda at this point.
It's a discussion item, so it's not for legislative action. So,
An item is an item.
Yeah.
Can we move?
Any specific issue that you would like to address? I mean, if
I'll let the deputy answer.
There's no specific issue. It was the contract for Waste Pro is coming up, and we were going to have a discussion item on the matter. We will make sure it's on the next agenda.
okay, let's have it on the next agenda because it would be a kind of disrespectful to the public, to not invite them to the discussion that we probably plan on having. I would concur with Councilman that if it's not an urgency or any emergency whatsoever, we can have it on our next meeting. That way it will be properly published and the public will attend and make their voice be heard.
We'll do so.
Mr. Mayor?
And
Go ahead. You have another one,
Yeah,
Councilman?
and I think the administration need to pay attention to the code because there's a procedure when to add an item on the agenda after being published, and he said clearly, unless it's an emergency item, and you cannot bring it, you cannot just add it on the agenda after it's been published, and I don't see the urgency of that. And
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor, if you allow me, tab C, if you, would I need a motion, Mr. Attorney, if we actually remove it for discussion?
You can remove any.
just remove it
Yeah,
by
you can remove any.
Just
of
tab
them for-
C, I just need clarification
for
on tab C.
discussion.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, before we move forward, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Clerk, it is my understanding that the agenda is now set so we can proceed with the meeting. Right?
The agenda is set, yes, Mayor.
Thank you very much. I will go down, all the members from the dais, for a few special presentations, one of which being, we have in our midst the mayor of Medley, Mayor Mattel, and he's one of my colleagues at the TPO board, which is formerly known as the MPO. So we'll go down and we just TPO.
Transportation planning?
Yeah, because that's what it is.
Right. Okay.
You know what?
Again, welcome.
Okay. Well, the purpose of the mayor being here is because, as I said, we've been serving on the board now together for the past 3 years. Yeah. And we've nurtured a very good, productive relationship. We've exchanged, ideas, about our different cities, be it, I don't know how many miles, separate yours and mine, Medley and North Miami. But somehow we are very similar in population. We are a very diverse city. We have Caucasians, Latinos, Caribbeans, Bahamians, Haitians, Cubans. You name it, we have it here, and I believe it is the same.
Yeah, we have a melting pot.
Yeah, that's why you call it medley. It's a medley. So at the TPO, we discuss the many problems that the county faces as far as transportation, transit is concerned, and we try to compare ourselves to different counties and different cities throughout the U.S. We've done a few trips to different places. And when we labor there at the level of the county on the TPO board, which is formerly the MPO, MPO stands for Metropolitan Planning Organization, and TPO stands for Transportation. So we recently just changed the name because that's what it deals with, transportation and transit. And I must tell you, nowadays we are dealing with a lot of big issues. We're talking multi-billion dollar projects. Yeah, $3.6 billion projects. We have the smart planes. That is, as a matter of fact, tonight we were supposed to have a presentation on the smart plane, but because it's such a long presentation, and this is our first meeting out of recess, so and they were not quite ready for it either, so that's why we deferred it for the next meeting in September, I hope. So a little bit about, so maybe I should let you speak about yourself instead of me saying it.
It's fine.
Because-
I'll say a little bit about
Okay, so tonight well, actually before you say that, reason why we wanted to just make it official between Medley and North Miami is to exchange keys to the cities, to the different cities. He'll give us his, and we'll give him ours, so that we can go eat lunch up there whenever we want. All right?
That is correct. That is correct. Make it like a sister city, work together as communities, and actually what happens in one community affects the other community. So we all reaching out to each other to make sure that when he needs help, I'm there to help him. When I need help, he's go out there, and we're trying to unite all the cities, because right now we have a big issue with transportation, which he's part of it and I'm part of it. We already passed the SMART plan, and now I will have the honor and pleasure also to be invited by the president's staff to go up there and present the SMART plan to the president, which the staff has it up there. So I'm waiting response in any day to see if they give us funds from the federal money to be able to accommodate the SMART plan, which will help all our community, especially it's gonna help the low class and the middle class. Those are the ones that are most needy, because nowadays they keep putting tolls all over the places. The cars are now built that every 5 years you have to change it, now they start breaking. So it affects the middle class and low class. So hopefully with the federal government, the state and the local government, we could get the SMART plan in to get people off the road into rapid transit, and that will save people money, especially the middle and the lower class, because then you have transportation to go everywhere, and you don't need to have a car actually. So that is the view that I see, and that'll help all the middle and the lower class in that effect. And then also you avoid taxes, and you'll be able to commute without having accidents. The insurance company is going to have fed about this, because less people will be having an accident, but we're here to protect the residents and the business people. That's mostly what we're trying to do. So and having the mayor here with me, we work as a team player in the MPO to get things done, which is now the TPO. We're trying to get things accomplished, and little by little things are happening. More roads are coming in, and that's all we got to do. All cities need to work together. Just not us two. All 36 cities inside Dade County need to work as a team to make sure what happens in one city affects the other city, and that's the way I see it. What happens in Hialeah affects me. What happens in Doral affects me. What happens in North Miami affects me, and vice versa. Yeah. And all we're trying to do is bring more business in. We throw a red carpet to every business that comes into our town to make sure we invite them to come in from outside the United States, not in the United States, because then actually we're not doing much in South Florida. So what I'm trying to do is bring business from outside the United States to create more jobs. And that's what we need, jobs, jobs, and jobs. And then once we have a lot of jobs, what happens with the people, the middle class and lower class? If there's a lot of jobs, that means the owner has to pay more, because there's not enough people to go around. When there's a lot of people going around, the owners get to pay less, because there's really little competition.
Yep.
So, Mayor, it's an honor and privilege to exchange keys with you, and it's a privilege to be here in your town hall. And thank you for the invite, and thank you for the key exchange.
Sure, no problem. Yeah. I mean, I have a few words that I wanted to say about you, so that people can at least have an idea of who you are. As mayor of the town of Medley, Mr. Roberto Martel is committed to serving his community. So pretty much he began public service in 2008, first as a council person, and then in 2012, he was elected mayor. And also in 2016, he was re-elected for his second term. Do you get to go for a third one?
I could go third, fourth, fifth.
Okay.
But I tell my people
I can
that
only go
I'll
for
run if
two.
they want me to go. If they want me to run again, I'll run again. If they want me to run, I'll walk away.
So pretty much the Mayor Martel has a very long list of accomplishments. And I'm not going to bore you, but no, you wouldn't be bored with all of them, but just for the sake of time, he's been recognized by many respected associations and committees throughout the whole county, as well as the entire state. So he was recently appointed by the governor 2 years ago to serve as one of the TPO members, where we make laws that affect a lot of people as far as transportation is concerned. So that's, with that being said, I would also invite all the council members, if you want to say a few words on the. This is our guest.
Mayor Martell, obviously, it's an honor to have you here with us tonight, and on behalf of the entire City Council, I know it's hard to run and get elected once, but getting reelected is certainly a testimony to what the citizens of Medley feel about you. So congratulations on that accomplishment. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for all you're doing on behalf of all residents of Miami-Dade County.
All right, the keys says presented to Honorable Roberto Martel, Mayor of Town of Medley, in recognition of your pioneering accomplishments and contributions to the South Florida community. Your devotion is greatly recognized and held at a very high regard. Presented to you today, August 22nd. All right.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Let me do my part. I have the key here from our town of Medley to present to the mayor and the council members in behalf that we have open door policies to unite, to work together as a team, to make sure that South Florida goes forward and goes ahead. By doing this, we're doing our job. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Let's go in the middle so they win that up. Thank you, gentlemen. It's an honor. Thank you. Thank you. Anything, feel free to stop by. Open door policy in my town.
Where's the box? Where's the box? You have the box for you?
Work as a team. That's the only way you get things done. Thank you, everybody.
Mayor. What is the next? So we have one more? Okay, today we also have the pleasure of recognizing the City of North Miami Office of Management and Budget. For the fourth time in a row, they got the first, is it first prize? In Budget Presentation Award for the fiscal year 2017. So please. 2013, 14, 15, 16. Okay, it reads Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award presented to the City of North Miami, Smith Joseph, for the wonderful work. No, it says Budget Department. You were going to let me say that?
I'd like to thank all the department heads for their contribution, especially John Lorfels for putting the book together, along with Roy Brown, who couldn't make it tonight, and the mayor and council, their guidance, Arthur Sori for his guidance the last few years, and especially our city manager, Larry Spring, for his direction. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Go back up.
Hmm? So we have to go back. We have to go back. It's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Are we here? We do it here or what?
You're going to just.
No, we're not going to do this.
Okay. Special presentation showcasing. And then that.
That's her?
Yeah.
Next one is a special presentation showcasing the positive aspects of a relationship between professional manager and the elected body. That's you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. My name is Sharon Ragunan, and I am the Assistant Town Manager of Lauderdale by the Sea. I also have the great privilege of serving on the Professional Management Matters Committee for Florida City County Management Association, also known as FCCMA. And this evening, I'm here to recognize and celebrate you for your 65 years of having a council manager form of government. As you all know, a council manager form of government was created to help distinguish administrative oversight from the direct political influence while providing elected officials with a high level of professional expert to guide, support, and provide you with options through the decision and policy-making process. It is modeled after the corporation's framework whereby you have voters who serve as the stockholders, selecting a council as their board of directors, and then you appointing a manager as your CEO to advise the council board and implement its actions through policies and ordinances. The City of North Miami is an example of this form of government. You have a council that strives to work together in a professional manner to make decisions and establish policy that is in the best interest of your North Miami community. Your council is committed to setting the example to other communities around our county and state by serving on various boards and committees, as well as helping neighboring cities to promote your region as well as our communities. These efforts are exemplified by your efforts and your decisions to do things right. The City of North Miami also has one of the best professional managers in Florida. Your city manager, Larry Spring, is viewed by other professionals around the state, the county, as well as local government, as someone who is well thought out, maintains the highest integrity and ethics, and is always willing to promote his community while helping those cities that need assistance. And I can attest to that when I was in Biscayne Park and in other communities throughout the county. He leads a staff within the city that exemplifies the council's goals and commitment to providing the highest quality of life in your city. About a year ago, the Florida City and County Management Association launched an effort focused on raising awareness of the role of professionals in local government. A Harris poll in 2009 concluded that 5% of citizens were able to describe the specific role of local government leadership in shaping their communities. As you all know, as professionals, it's not only our duty to work on behalf of the citizens, but also to ensure transparency, which is fulfilled when there is a shared understanding among citizens of what that is. We certainly encourage you at FCCMA to support your professional manager and stay informed by visiting our website at fccma.org, subscribing to our newsletter, and following us on social media. If you ever have a meeting where you have future leaders aspiring for a career in local government, feel free to call us, and we'll be more than glad to provide you with a speaker for your program. And without further ado, congratulations again on your milestone achievement. Tonight, I would like to present Mayor Joseph Smith-Joseph, Councilman Scott Galvin, Councilwoman Carol Keys, Councilman Philippe Bien-Aimé, Councilman Alex Diaz-Rome, and City Manager Larry Spring with a certificate by the International City County Management Association recognizing the City of North Miami for its 65th year of a council manager form of government. Thank you. The city on the move.
We are town now. What about town?
Yeah.
Again, thank you very much for coming, taking the time to present us with this award. We didn't know that we were that famous in North Miami. Apparently, we are, unless Larry Spring has been doing some work. Right, Larry? Okay, the last presentation is by PAL. We're going to ask PAL representatives to please come forward. I believe it's Sergeant Kessler Brooks who's going to lead the presentation. Do we need to sit down now? No? We can sit down, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager, City Clerk. Thank you. I'm very proud to be here, or to be asked to update you guys about the success of PAL of North Miami. And to everyone who has my back, I apologize. I'll start with a quick presentation. Okay. The Police Athletic League of North Miami was founded in 1998 by Major Tim Belcher and Officer James Stewart under former Police Chief Kenny Each. The nonprofit organization was established to build partnerships between our police department, local schools, and the community to enhance the lives of North Miami's youth. The Police Athletic League continues its tradition of providing a safe haven, character building programs, and organized sports experience for girls and boys ages 6 to 18 who otherwise may not be able to afford private sports leagues or play on a school team. PAL of North Miami, in sports such as boxing, PAL of North Miami often provides all necessary uniforms and equipment at no cost to the students. The successful guidance of PAL is made possible through the efforts of board members comprised of city employees and civilian volunteers, some of whom are with us tonight. If you can please stand to be recognized real quick. Excellent. PAL, besides offering boxing that we just spoke about, PAL also offers an array of different events and things like tutoring, track and field, for which I might add, we've garnered national recognition. PAL also offers junior police cadet program and we see the kids through graduation. If we go to the next slide. We don't only stop like perhaps other PAL programs and see them through our program once they leave the doors. We kind of, just keep up once in a while. We actually touch bases. At a moment in time when cities across the country are struggling to build positive relationships between residents and law enforcement, the significance of PAL's mission of building bonds between the community and the police is more important than ever. PAL's sports and character building programs keeps young people engaged in positive youth development activities and reinforce the concept of discipline, leadership, teamwork, and sportsmanship. These principles have helped PAL develop productive, active leaders. The following slides will perfectly illustrate what I'm talking about. These are some of our students who've come through PAL. Innocent McCorv, Edmie St. Louis, Ricardo St. Fleur, Monica Frederick, Kathy Francois, who, by the way, I believe is joining us here today also. I'll embarrass her a little bit. Randy Seraphin, Randy Seraphin, Miami-Dade. Officer Emmanuel Ginty, Miami Gardens. Officer and SWAT operator, JP, but his name is Jean-Pierre Calderon. As we go on to the last slide, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge one of our proudest successes. Please join me in recognizing our city clerk, Mr. Michael Etienne.
Mayor and Council, I was asked to speak for about 30 to 60 seconds. In short, the profound impact PAL had in my life. And let me just give you a scenario here. PAL was created in 1998. In 1997, by the age of 14 years old, I was already arrested 3 to 4 times and was declared a juvenile delinquent. And my last 2 arrests was in 1997. The second I joined PAL in 1998, I was never arrested again. What does that tell you? At the age of 14, 15, I became preoccupied with sports. I was running track. I was playing football. I was playing basketball. I was looking into boxing. So the young energy that I had as a young kid running around the streets of North Miami, that energy, instead of breaking into people's cars, getting in a fight, pulling out guns, committing crimes, I was able to use that energy in sports. And PAL was that segue. And today you're looking at a person, despite the fact that I was a juvenile delinquent, who became a lawyer at 24, 23. I got elected at 26, 27. In addition to that, I've had my own law practice for the past 10 years after leaving the public defender's office. And it is all thanks to what PAL did for me at that young age. Because if they didn't stop me and I was convicted as an adult at the age of 17 or 18, Michael at 10 wouldn't be here. So this is why. It's either the next Michael at 10 is going to be out there running around having these guys chase them because they're still in purses, still in cars, or they're going to be at the track, or they're going to be at the boxing arena, or they're going to be playing basketball with these guys at PAL. So I am forever grateful for the profound impact PAL had in my life. Thanks again.
All right. So, PAL, I mean, you guys shouldn't have any budgetary problems, right?
Only was that simple.
Wow, this is very motivating. I mean, when you hear those kind of stories and the police officers, the kind of work that you guys do, and you still have the same energy every day to go out there and do it and make the difference that you make in the youngster's life. I mean, there is no price you can put on that. So with that being said, we'll go forward with our special events announcement with our PIO.
Good evening. Good evening to our honorable mayor, council, staff, North Miami neighbors, and guests. I'm Unicia Baker. I'm the City of North Miami Senior Public Information Officer, and it is my pleasure to share some of our city's exciting upcoming events with you. Jazz at Mocha will take place on Friday, August 25th from starting at 8 p.m. This month's performer is Lisanne Lyons. Jazz at Mocha is South Florida's longest running free outdoor jazz concert series. Enjoy these outdoor performances on the last Friday of every month in Mocha Plaza. In partnership with the U.S. Soccer Foundation, the City of North Miami will be mentoring youth through soccer coaching at the Soccer for Success event on Saturday, August 26th, starting at 8:30 a.m. at Ben Franklin Park. This free event is open to youth ages 3 to 18. Pre-registration and on-site registration are available. Just contact our Parks and Recreation Department for details. In observance of Labor Day, the City of North Miami will be closed. City of North Miami offices will be closed on Monday, September 4th. Normal hours of operation will resume on Tuesday, September 5th. The North Miami Police Department will host a swearing-in ceremony at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, August 29th at the NMPD Community Room. This event will celebrate NMP's recent promotions and badge pinnings for several new officers. Refreshments will follow, and all are invited. The City of North Miami's after-school care and homework assistance program has resumed. This program operates Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. at both the Griffin and Joe Celestine centers. Space is limited, so please call our Parks and Recreation Department for pricing and registration details. Through September 15th, Walk with Ease in North Miami in our self-guided walking program. This program takes place from 8 to 10 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the Joe Celestine Center. Just call 305-893-6511, extension 12610, to register. The City of North Miami's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration is scheduled for September 7th until October 12th. On September 7th from 7 to 9 p.m. in the Mocha Plaza, dressed in all white, we will kick off and set the tone for a month of cultural activities with the White Tropical Nights cocktail reception, including a silent auction of unique South Florida experiences, Latin music, food, and more. Visit northmiamifl.gov/celebrate for more on Hispanic Heritage Month and all of North Miami's cultural heritage celebrations. On Thursday, September 14th from 7 to 9 p.m., Mocha invites the community to an artist reception featuring Eduardo Duval Carey. This event is free to Mocha members and North Miami residents, and it costs just $10 to non-North Miami residents. Stay tuned with North Miami by watching our free governmental programming on NOMI TV, also available 24 hours a day through the city's website, northmiamifl.gov. Like the City of North Miami on Facebook, follow us at NOMI News on Twitter, and download the My NOMI mobile app. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the updates. I don't believe we have any project update. No project update, so we go next to hurricane preparedness. We're still in the hurricane season.
Yes, we are. No update tonight, though.
No update on hurricane preparedness. Now we need a motion to go with the consent agenda.
So moved.
With the omission of tab C, as was requested. I
So
second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Galvin to approve consent agenda items A, B, and D. That motion was seconded by Mayor Smith Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab C, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, ratifying the city manager's issuance of a purchase order in the amount of $115,306 to Tampa Tank Inc. to provide emergency repairs to the water storage tank location at the Winston Water Treatment Plant pursuant to Section 7-144 City Code of Ordinances and Resolution Number 217-R-86, providing for an effective date and for all of the purposes.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Alberto Estrade, Purchasing Director, City of North Miami. The item that you have before you is a ratification of the city manager's issuance of an emergency purchase order in the amount of $115,306 to the company Tampa Tank for emergency repairs to one of the storage tanks for this at the city's water treatment plant. As stated in the council report, the water treatment plant has two large water tanks which serve the city of North Miami, and the smaller of these tanks is experiencing some structural deterioration affecting the roof of the dome. So in order to safeguard and to remedy this situation, this purchase order was processed and issued in order to ensure the continued integrity of this roof. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yes, sir. I have basically two questions. The first one you said
Before, since I'm sorry, we still have to open it to the public. If anyone from the public wants to be heard on the item, please come forward. I see no one coming, so public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First question, Mr. Estrada. You said it was through an emergency thing approved by the city manager.
That's correct.
So, what does this mean? How was this vendor selected? And that's the first question. And second question, what do you mean we just find out that there's an issue with the water plant? Because I've been hearing it ongoing about situations within that water plant.
Well, to answer, I think perhaps your second question first, with
Yes, sir.
regards to an emergency procurement, it's provided in the procurement code.
Okay.
And it allows us to proceed whenever there is a situation that poses a potential hazard for health or property for the city. And this is how we proceeded. In terms of how we selected this particular vendor, this is a vendor that specializes in this type of work. This is a vendor that was contacted by our staff and reached out to them to come and do an inspection of this water tank and to provide us with a proposal so we can immediately begin the work.
Oh, okay, Mr. Mayor, if you allow me. Well, my only concern with that, which is fine with but us as elected folks, if there's such emergency that obviously you're talking about the quality of life of the public and public safety, I would ask the manager or yourself, whoever come up with that decision, to next time send a quick email or a memo letting us know of this such emergency, because obviously it seems like this is an emergency, a do or die, if I may type of emergency. So again, so this did not go through the process because of the code? You just selected one who does this type of work?
Well, let me just state this, that one of the reasons why we proceeded and moved this project forward is in order to avoid that we would get to a point where this would pose a serious health hazard to the city. So sometimes you have to take actions in order to safeguard and avoid reaching a point that becomes you know, a very serious emergency problem. So this was an issue that was detected, and we felt that it was appropriate to move forward with this emergency.
I totally agree. I'm just saying that it should be communicated with us up here as policymakers, especially those who are dealing with the public on daily basis. So it's not an emergency as of yet. We just want to prevent the emergency from what I'm hearing now.
That's correct, Councilman.
Okay. And my second question, sir, so you just selected the vendor based on the code of someone who could do this type of work?
This is a vendor who has experience and who has a demonstrated expertise in doing this kind of work. This is the kind of work that not just any contractor can do. It's a very specialized kind of work, and that's how they were contacted and selected.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So the scope of work is it to repair those tanks? Or how many tanks is that? One
Well,
tank?
It's essentially the smaller of the two tanks.
Yeah,
It's the smaller of the two tanks. It's, as stated in the council report, it's approximately 750,000 gallon tank. And the scope of work, to be more specific, once again, as noted in the council report, the repairs will include or consist of removing a 40-foot diameter from the center of the roof, removing and replacing the current center rafters and columns, installing new roof plates over the removed 40-foot diameter section, and installing a new center vent.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
How imminent is the disaster with this tank, and we did not have time to do any kind of bidding for this?
Well, again, the Public Works Director is here. He can respond to that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Whistler Pierre Lewis, Public Works Director. We had an inspection performed today. We don't have the final report. However, based on staff's assessment, it is imminent. We, again, as the purchasing director explained, we want to avoid any drastic emergencies. It is not common for a dome or for the top of a tank to start to deteriorate the way that we see it deteriorating. And therefore, we want to take action now to prevent any type of emergency. But we think it is at the stage where it would require emergency action in order to make the repairs.
So I take it this is an old tank?
Yes, this is the original tank from when the water plant was built in the 60s.
In the 60s?
Yes.
But do we inspect them periodically, or did this, I mean, this just, somebody just happened to walk by and?
We do inspect them periodically, and it was something that was, our staff being vigilant noticed that the dome caved in sometime during the recess.
Okay, it's 57 years old. 57, what? No?
No, Kennedy was president when that, and I'm not joking, Kennedy was president when Winston Water Plant opened.
I guess what the message that we're trying to convey here, that should have been cut maybe a year, 2 years ago, before it becomes imminent for a disaster to happen.
If through the mayor, keep in mind, and I don't know why the Public Works Director hasn't stated this, we have a restoration project underway for the entire plant that you already financed, before I was manager, and that all of that work is ongoing. This was a situation that, and I need to reiterate this point, the other point of emergency. This happened during the legislative recess, which you guys granted some authority for me to move these type of items forward. So that's the other reason why action was taken so expeditiously. So
We know, we heard it. I mean, what the recess it was only 4 weeks ago. 4 or 5 weeks ago. This is a 57-year-old tank.
I'll move approval, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Galvin to approve tab C. That motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab E. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to execute a second option to renew the agreement between the city of North Miami and Country Bills Lawn Maintenance, Inc. for the provision of lawn and landscaping maintenance services at various locations throughout the city in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the invitation for bid number 16-12-13, lawn maintenance services at a cost not to exceed $250,000 for a period of 1 year, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
If the council members don't mind, we are very familiar with Country Bill. If we can bypass staff presentation and ask the public if they have any concerns, right? If anyone from the public has any objection, has any concern or questions about item E or F? E, it's a contract with Country Bill to do landscaping work throughout the whole city for the upcoming year. Please come to the mic or forever hold your peace. I see no one coming to the mic, so public hearing is closed. Members on the dais?
I have one question, Mr. Mayor. Well, maybe two. I know I don't know if I think you was here last year. I had some concerns with this vendor. As of now, still, I have not heard from the vendor and still repeating, getting stuff from Northwest 17th Avenue, a couple of the traffic circles. So I'm trying to figure out how we went from last year to now, and now when is this contract over? Is this the second year?
Yes, Mr. Councilman, this is the second and the last renewal option under this contract.
Okay, because the biggest concern is Waste Pro and the swell, the circles, and I've mentioned it to the deputy manager, well, several times. Not recently, because I haven't heard anything, but those are my concerns. They still remain my concerns as of last year, still remain the same concern as of this year. Thank you.
If there is no more comment, we can go to a vote.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Galvin to approve tab E. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
I just have a quick question before. And I understand that after the contract, we built several traffic circles, right? And we don't have any agreement with the vendor on them taking care of it. Are you going to include those traffic circles in the new contract?
Currently, they're not in the contract. We've been working on it with our staff. However, it does get stressful for us to try to make it to all of the traffic circles. We can talk to Country Bill and see if we can include those traffic circles in the contract, I guess, for an additional fee, and then we'll come back to this body, let the body know what this fee is.
Another area, the three entrances of the city, like 135th East and West, 125th East and West, and 119, and those
corridors
those
for
swells,
95
those
and the
corridors.
exits, yes.
If we can include that to make sure those are clean, because when you come into North Miami, you understand that you come into North Miami. When it's elsewhere, you see the difference. If we can work this out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just for the record, those are state roads. I know we may have maintenance agreements that we're responsible for some of them, but I just just
if
to,
we can work
if
that,
we can work that out. I just
then
want to
make
make sure we put that on the record.
we've been taking care of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have a
That's
motion.
it.
So I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Galvin. The motion was to approve tab E. That motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Item passes with a 4-1 vote.
Thank you.
Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a first option to renew asphalt laid in place services agreement between the city of North Miami and Metro Express, Inc. to continue to provide the city with asphalt resurfacing services, providing for an effective date and for all of the purposes.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. The item that you have before you is one of two companion items, F and G, having to do with, or rather seeking the authority from the city council to exercise the first of two options to renew of the term contract with Metro Express Incorporated to perform and provide for the city street resurfacing work throughout the city. This would be as I said, a first renewal. The combined total for Metro Express and the following item, which were two contractors selected last year for this contract, is $290,000. Once again, the recommendation is for your approval of this first year option. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to take.
Okay. This time, if there is anyone in the public who wishes to be heard on these two items, well, we're only doing one at a time. Item F, Aden Frank, engaging company Metro Express for laying down asphalt and resurfacing our streets. Any objection from the public? I see none. Public hearing is closed on item F, Aden Frank. Members on the dais? No one? Mr. Clerk?
Do I have a motion to approve tab F?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Bieneme to approve tab F. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Approve with a 5-0 vote. Tab F,
Tab G.
I'm sorry, tab G, thank you, Mayor.
That is
Proposed,
great.
proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a first option to renew asphalt laid and services agreement between the city of North Miami and H&R Paving, Inc. to continue to provide the city with asphalt resurfacing services, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Once again, Mr. Mayor, council members.
It's okay. We don't want to do that to you again.
Thank you.
We'll just give the public opportunity to be heard. If you want to be heard, please come forward. I see none coming, so public hearing is closed on item G. Members on the dais, any comment? Questions, concern? No comments, Mr. Clerk?
Do I have a motion to approve tab G?
Oh, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Galvin to approve tab G. That motion was seconded by Mayor Smith Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab H, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the vacation, abandonment, and closure of a portion of a 15-foot wide alleyway located south and adjacent to the southern boundary line of Lot 12, Block 5 of Sands Sushi Estates, according to the plate thereof, as recorded in Plate Book 50, page 86 of the Public Records of Miami-Dade County, further authorizing the city manager to negotiate the sale of the subject alleyway in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 3, Division 9, City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Land Development Regulations, and to take all necessary steps to effectuate same, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you. For the record, Tanya Wilson-Chajor with Community Planning and Development. I'll read the staff recommendation into the record. Staff is requesting that pursuant to the provision of
You can say
Chapter
good evening to
29
us.
And good evening and welcome to all
Thank
the
you.
council members. Staff is requesting pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 29, Article 3, Division 9, Section 3-906 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of North Miami, Land Development Regulations, that the mayor and council review the alleyway abandonment application as described in the resolution title and further depicted in the specific purpose survey attached in Exhibit 2 for compliance with the terms of Article 3, Division 9, Section 3-903 of the LDRs, the Planning Commission's recommendation for approval, city staff's findings of facts, and if any, the testimony of July 11, 2017 public hearing of the Planning Commission, and subsequently pass and adopt the attached resolution approving the vacation abandonment closure and subsequent sale of the portion of the alleyway therein described. The request before you is for an alleyway abandonment. The lot itself is located at 2230 Northeast 122nd Street in the San Souci subdivision. The area of the alleyway itself is unimproved and overgrown. The applicant approached the city with concerns about the safety of his property that abuts the alleyway itself. He's seeking to take in that portion, that 930 square feet sliver behind his property, to include it as a part of his property boundaries. Based on the land development regulations requirements, any alleyway abandonment request has to be consistent with the provisions of the LDRs to prove that the city has no public purpose for the alleyway, that there's no life safety issues in abandoning that alleyway and giving it over to a private property owner. Staff believes that the applicant has met all the requirements of the code with reference to the criteria for abandonment of the alleyway. And at this time, the alleyway itself has already been appraised. Any abandonment of alleyways within the city must include also a compensation from the private property owner. The site itself was appraised for $8,500. Based on the terms of the land development regs, the city can negotiate a sale of 90% of that value. The applicant has agreed to the 90% portion of $7,650 if it's the will and pleasure of the council. The applicant, Chad Pietrowski, is actually here at the council meeting and wishes to speak on this item.
Yeah, before I wish, I mean, when I saw the item, I meant to go to the site to actually have a visual, because I mean it would be nice, you know, to have some visuals to see what we are voting on. I know there is a street address, and I just ran out of time, and I couldn't just go there and take a look at it. But any safety issues that should be addressed, I mean, as far as if firefighters, and if there is a fire or if there is any other emergencies, I don't know, because I don't see it. You know, like I said, I tried to see if I could find time today to run there and take a look at it, and I couldn't. And I was hoping that there would be some pictures here to give me a better.
For the benefit of the council, we do have a survey and pictures attached.
Yeah,
if
but
the mayor and council want to take a look at that, there are exhibits that are actually included.
Yeah, but this doesn't tell me much. That's just me. This is only me. If the applicant has a few words to say, that's fine.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
This doesn't tell me anything.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chad Piotrowski. I'm the property owner at 2230 Northeast 122nd Street. I've been working with the city of North Miami for many months now. I applied for the abandonment of the alleyway, and I'm happy to answer any questions about how the alley is not being used, how it's not passable, any of the safety concerns you all may have. I'm just hoping that you all will pass it so I can make it part of my yard.
That's 122nd. That's.
It abuts Beth Moshe parking lot. It's
Yeah,
right behind
I'm
me.
trying to find it.
And I did speak to Rabbi Jordy, and he provided a letter to me saying that he has no objection to me extending my fence into the alleyway. It's not being used whatsoever. I've maintained that property, or the alley in the back.
You on the same street as Beth Moshe? No. No.
Beth Moshe.
Back to back.
Or back to back.
Backs up to Beth Moshe, partly.
Correct.
I mean, if there is no safe. Yeah,
Would you do public hearing?
yeah, we'll open it to the public now.
William Welsh, 1180 118th Road. Sans Souci is pretty much opposed to this sale of the land. It's just a really bad idea. A lot of other sales to land to different places has not worked out very well for the community, giving our land away. If you really must allow this person to have use of the alley, give them an annual lease that's renewable, and that way at some future time, if it becomes evident that we need to have the alley back, we can stop the lease at the end of the period and regain the alley. But selling the land, it is potentially very dangerous for the city because we have 5 alleys in Sans Souci that are pretty much abandoned, but are actually necessary for all the utilities, the city to come by with water and everything else. And if you start giving away this land or selling it, what happens in a natural disaster, an emergency? Our power is going to be out extended period of times because of the obstructions put up into these alleyways. If you sell the land and they put up fences that are basically, you need to get a bulldozer in there to take them out, how long is the delay for our service to be reinstalled? It's just a bad idea all the way around. If you must do it, lease the land on an annual basis and then see what happens. At some future date, maybe consider selling it, but find out what the implications are in real life. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Welcome back from vacation. Hopefully you're well rested. My name is Kevin Burns, 2065 Alameda Drive. When this came up at the Planning Commission originally, I'm not a big fan of getting rid of properties. However, Mr. Mayor, I had the opportunity to go out there and see this particular property. It makes a lot of sense that city starts getting rid of properties that it does not properly maintain. The alley is impassable. The adjoining neighbors are in favor of it. We have this problem throughout the whole city, not just Sans Souci, where people have asked for this type of thing before and we've granted it. We have alleys. If the city is not going to maintain them and keep them as a working alley, then you should give the property back to the residents if it's going to be abandoned, rather than the eyesore that it has been, whether it's on 126th Street in Central City or in Sans Souci. Go look at those 5 alleys that they speak about. You can barely get through them. On this particular alley, it makes a lot of sense because it backs up to a parking lot. And again, the adjoining owner, who's very versed in the activities of this city, is in favor of it. I think the more rights that you give to the landowners and to the homeowners who are going to take care of the property, keep it from being an eyesore and make an investment in their property, case-by-case situation, this one makes a lot of sense. But again, it's an issue that came up at the Planning Commission for the staff to look at this problem throughout the whole city. You all have talked about it for many years, but I never see the reports, never see anything come about, because I think there's a lot of people who would like to make use of the alleys or abandon them and incorporate it, tax the property as part of their homestead. So I would be in favor of this particular sale. I think it's a good move on the management's part, and I think you all should be very supportive of this. Thank you very much.
Yes, nobody else wants to be heard on the item. I see no one coming, so public hearing is closed. Any more comments from the dais?
I would like to.
After Councilwoman Keys, Mr. Mayor.
So when I first heard about this several months ago, I did go out to the property. I did speak to the neighbors. There are other neighbors on this particular alley who already have taken over the alley, put their fences up, and if we don't, our attorney brought up a good point. If we don't give a permit and allow this, then are we going to go after the other people who are taking care of their alleys, putting fences up, and asking them to take them down? My concern is the access for the utility company. Right now, it's just everybody uses it as their backyard. There really is not an entrance over a curb. if the FPL, if the utility companies are giving the permission, they must be okay with this particular property. Half of it does abut up against a parking lot of Temple Beth Moshe. I did speak to the rabbi and made sure that they had no problem. They did not want any part of the alley. He said that was fine. So I had spoken to him several months ago. There are conditions that FPL or the has asked for, and that it is in our city's conditions that you do grant an easement, and that you cannot build any structure on this easement other than a fence. And as long as everybody is aware that if there's a fence, there should be gates, and if in fact there is a problem, an emergency, and FPL wants to go back there, they go back there. And if you don't have a fence, they are gonna bulldoze, but it is your obligation to give access, because there are two neighbors that are west of you that could not access. And the one neighbor to the west of you I did speak to, he was very much in favor. I did not ever speak to that one. But if he's got a problem, you're gonna have to give access. Or, again, there's access through the temple. So I have no objection on this. I have asked our manager to do an assessment of the alleys in Sans Souci, because we do have a lot, and they're really kind of overrun, and people don't know who's supposed to be maintaining them. And I think I'd like to, look into that a little further. I asked for that about a year ago. So, thank you.
Okay, Councilman Desulme.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My take on it is slightly different. I understand former Mayor Burns asked for a report, and I know, Mr. Jour, we had this conversation before. I'm totally opposed to giving city properties, even to businesses, but in some instances, I would look at the businesses and look at it, review it on a case-by-case. I have a very prominent business in my district, which I'm going through the same thing, and it just does something to me. First of all, if the city is supposed to maintain it, either the city does, or we plant some trees. I'm hearing, we got environmental stuff going all over the place, but it does something to me if you have residents all over the city asking to have access to the alley. I don't oppose it. If other districts are doing it out of courtesy for Councilwoman Keys, I would go along with it, but please leave my district out of any studies or anything that they are doing. And for future reference, I am totally opposed to giving city property to residents or anyone, selling it, whatever the case is. I'm just opposed to it. As you know, there was one instance when I first got here, that was already, a promise was already made from someone else to a church, and I explained to the pastor I do not support it, but I went along with it, but that's just my feeling. But for tonight, if the councilwoman is okay with it, that's fine. I would not, I don't have any, I'm hesitant about doing it, but I will do it. But I'm totally in opposed to giving residents, and I don't care whatever the case is. I think if we need to, again, plant trees, do whatever that we need to do. We have access, we have emergency, we have different things. These alleys used to serve a good purpose, and they used to be kept up many years ago. I don't know what happened to them, but giving them away or selling them away, it's not something that I'm too much in favor of. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have just a quick question. And the appraisal and what was the amount for the appraisal? How much you come up with?
It was 8,500.
Okay, and you said you settled at 90% of that?
Correct. So 7,650.
Why is that?
Because the code requires that the city can entertain at 90%.
You can start at 90%. That's not the requirement. The requirement
So
said you
the code
cannot
gives
go
you that
lower
option
than
to take the
90%.
benefit. Correct.
But we can go up to 150 to 100%.
Mhm.
Okay.
You
We'll
have
make
that
that
you have
decision
that
to settle at 90%.
consideration.
Huh?
You have that consideration,
Okay.
which is what's before you in the resolution.
Okay. That's why the minimum is 90%, but it's up to.
Are we voting on
city
the
decide
price
to
as well?
settle. Yes.
Yes.
Is it
So allow the
90%?
city manager to negotiate.
So is that part of, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, is
Yeah.
that part of our
Voting.
work here? We're supposed to.
Once it's
if we-
abandoned, they
They
have to
propose,
compensate
but-
the city.
I mean, Councilwoman Keys, if you are you going along with this? You saying you are supporting?
The reason I agree on this, I do not like abandonment of alleys when other people are in fact driving on it. People want a street abandoned. This is the backyard. So the applicant is required to maintain the land behind him, not the city. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
if he fences in his backyard, now how does he go behind his fence to go maintain an alley? This is not anything, this is not ever gonna be taken back by the city for a park. It's somebody's backyard. And if we don't maintain it, then you've got rats, you've got growth, you're
Yeah, we
really
have
not
that problem
maintaining.
throughout.
This is not the back of an alley where we've had people ask us to give it up, like, because people have been in the past driving. This is someone's backyard, and it's just cleaning it up, because it's really a hardship to have to go outside your fence to
So-
go,
No,
and then half of it goes to your neighbor.
So can I buy my backyard, half of my backyard? I'm just asking a question. Can the people?
You just said you were against that.
No, I know, but I'm asking that question. I am against it. Period.
When I was growing up here, the alleys back there in the center of the city, they were all used because the
They-
trash pickup was in the
absolutely.
backyard. This alley has
And
never been,
FPL.
I don't believe this alley's ever been driven on by anybody or any public
use it.
truck.